Senator Chris Von Hollen is still trying to grab onto his 5 seconds of fame with the Abrego Garcia story, which my understanding, the most overplayed political maneuver in recent history. Weeks and weeks of talking about this moron gangster guy, and now. My understanding is the Democrats have been told to stop. But Chris Von Hollen, I've never heard him before. I don't know if he's new or whatever, but this is clearly, his he's getting traction and making him famous. But this whole 5 minute exchange between him and Secretary of Homeland is Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is. It's sad. The guy is, it's just the most transparent, overplayed hand seen in a while.
And I understand you had an exchange with Senator Murphy on the Abrego Garcia case. And so I'm just going to put the question directly to you. Are you or DHS doing anything to comply with the 9-0 Supreme Court order to facilitate his return to the United States? Just yes or no.
This administration is following all federal court
I,
And first off, that's not even a yes or no question. The Supreme Court, and she can't, answer this way, but uh, the the Supreme Court gave a double answer because they said facilitate, which it's kind of a shocking. They're trying to appease the judicial system, but they also know there's no authority for them to tell the president to bring a foreign national back to our country when he's in his home country. So saying facilitate is just like give it a try. I mean, it literally means nothing. And they did that answer on purpose because it means nothing, and everyone knows that.
orders.
Madam Secretary, this is
And
a
it's
simple
the
question. I'm
president's
asking,
prerogative on
Madam,
conversations that
Madam
happen
Chair,
with the president of El
I
Salvador.
ask a simple question. We have a limited amount of time.
And this whole 5 minutes of him, where, bring Garcia back, and he just gave me my time. He basically doesn't want her to talk. He just wants the grandstand.
I just asked you, Madam Secretary, whether or not you or the Department of Homeland Security are taking any action to facilitate the 9-0 Supreme Court decision to facilitate his return. This is a very simple question. Are you taking any action to facilitate his return, or are you not?
This administration is following and complying with all federal court orders
so-
to make sure that we
So
are.
you are, because the court ordered that you facilitate his return, so you are facilitating his return.
Sir, Senator, thank you for the question, but what I would
Madam
tell you
Secretary-
is that we are following court orders,
Madam
and that your advocacy for a known terrorist is alarming to me.
Madam
It's
Secretary.
alarming to me because he's a human smuggler.
Madam
he's a
Secretary,
wife
I'm going to have to
beater,
reclaim
and
my
a
time.
terrorist, and
Madam-
he's not a U.S. citizen. He's a citizen of El Salvador, and he's home. If he were to come back
Madam
here,
Secretary-
we would take him immediately
All right,
back
I'm going to
El
have
Salvador.
to, Madam Secretary, you should know a couple facts then, which is,
Which he knows she's right. He knows that this is a total waste of everyone's time, but he doesn't want her to talk. He just wants her to say yes or no and try to sound like he's important.
number one, in 2019, the immigration court said that he should not be returned to El Salvador because it would put his life in danger. The Trump administration at the time did not appeal.
And the court didn't say that. As a Hail Mary, after his trial, he's had tons of due process. After his trial, his attorney, as a Hail Mary, requested that he not go back to his home country because he's in a gang and other gang members will try to kill him because he's in a gang. And then he's going to immediately talk about how he's not in a gang.
That decision. After that, he got a work permit and was working legally in the United States of America. This is also why the district court and the appellate court and the Supreme Court have ruled as they have. I suggest that rather than make these statements here, that you and the Trump administration make them in court under oath, because despite what you just said, the federal district court, whose judge is hearing this case right now, said, and I'm quoting, that the administration has provided no evidence linking Abrego Garcia to MS-13 or any other terrorist activity.
And that judge should be removed. The judge, I mean, it should be at least reviewed and sanctioned because um, there is evidence of human trafficking, and there's photo evidence now, video evidence that's been released of the police of him in the car with an envelope of cash, with a car packed with more passengers than should be legal. He should have been arrested just for how many people were packed into the car. If it was someone else, they would have been arrested for endangering the people in the car. But the FBI told the police to let him go. He was also caught by the police. I believe it was at a Home Depot parking lot with two other MS gang members, where he was arrested. I mean, it's just the judge is a hack. This whole show is a hack.
activity. I'm not, I'm not vouching for the man. I'm vouching for his due
Well, yes, you
process
are,
rights.
sir. You've
No,
been
no,
vouching
no,
for
Madam
him.
Secretary,
I
with
would
respect.
suggest that you
And he's had his due process to the max. Something else that is not talked about hardly at all. I mean, the amount of due process this guy had is beyond what, he should have been shipped out long before this.
defend and
Madam,
stand alongside the victims of
you're,
illegal
this is
crime in this
political
country, and the
rhetoric.
citizens who live here and
Do
are
you,
United States Americans. I would suggest you
Total hypocrite. Total hypocrite. Look at that face. Oh, no, it's just dog and pony show.
advocate for them as hard
Madam
as you do those
Secretary,
foreign terrorists.
I know you're doing a political speech
No,
here.
I'm
I
not,
get it.
sir.
I'm
Political-
asking questions of law. No, you're just spewing
I truly
rhetoric.
believe this. I
Well, you're
truly believe
spewing
this
rhetoric.
as an
Let me ask you
American.
this. Do you agree? Do you agree with Justice Scalia in the Supreme Court opinion in Reno v. Flores that, I'm quoting, "It is well established that the Fifth Amendment entitles aliens to due process of law in deportation proceedings." End of quote.
Sir, we are utilizing every due process tool that this Congress has afforded us.
This is-
The Congress decides what
Madam
due process
Secretary,
is appropriate for every situation. Expedited removal is a due process that you have afforded us that we are utilizing. The Alien Enemies Act
I'm going
is
to
another
reclaim my
tool that
time,
we're
Madam
utilizing.
Secretary.
So
You
we are
are,
giving due
Madam
process
Secretary.
and
I don't want answers. I just want to preach at you.
using the tools
Madam
that this
Secretary,
Congress has given us.
this is really, I'm asking sort of simple questions of law and simple questions like, are you complying with the 9-0 Supreme Court decision? And you seem to think that's some kind of trick question. Let me ask you this. You were down at CCOT in El Salvador, and you said, and that, I'm quoting, "It is one of the tools in the toolkit that we will use." And it's well known that the Trump administration is paying the government of El Salvador to keep these individuals, including those who the U.S. courts have determined were illegally taken out of the country in violation of their due process rights. Have you seen the grant document between the United States and the government of El Salvador with respect to the CCOT?
It's important that everybody knows the consequences of what happens for their actions in this country. When you break the law and you're a member of a foreign
Madam
terrorist
Secretary, I asked you a
organization, there are
question. Have you
consequences
seen
to
the
that.
document? This is not hard.
Yes, I have.
Okay. And what are the provisions of the doc? So do you know what entities in El Salvador are
Sir,
receiving
I'm
the
sure
funds?
you can see this document as well and have looked at it for
I'm
evaluation.
glad you
as
raised
well.
that, Madam Secretary, because I sent you a letter along with many of my colleagues here on April 8th asking for, among other things, that document. Will you respond to the letter that we sent?
I will respond to your letter.
Can I get some sense of when?
We will take a look at it. I don't remember seeing your letter yet, but I will certainly
Well,
take a
it's
look
been
at
there
it
over a
and give you
month.
a
The
response.
senator's time has
No,
expired.
Madam Chair.
Senator Kennedy?
Madam
I'm not done whining and throwing a tantrum.
Chair.
Madam
The
Secretary.
Secretary, I have some additional questions.
No,
related
sir,
to
that's up
prior
to
cap-
you to manage that time. Senator Kennedy?
Madam,
Nobody cares. What a joke of a senator. His state had multiple victims of rape and murder from illegal immigrants, and he spent however many hundreds of thousands of dollars flying to El Salvador, grandstanding in this ridiculous dog and pony show. What a waste of everyone's time for the last 2 or 3 weeks. What do you guys think?